Phoenix James is an actor, director, producer, multi-award winning internationally published writer, performance poet and model, spoken word recording artist and filmmaker. A lover of writing, art, expression and creativity in its many forms, Phoenix discovered at an early age what he wanted to do in life: create. Born in London in the late 70s, he attended school until age 16. During this time, growing up, he developed a love for singing, writing, music, art, dancing, and drama. On leaving school, he began a career in hairstyling, another self-taught creative talent he had developed, and by age 20 was managing a local unisex hair salon 7 days a week. Modeling was also another one of his activities he had fallen into by this time, and entered his first men's modeling competition at an event in 1998, winning first place in his heat and later becoming third in overall finals, where he also sang and where reportedly over 800 women were said to be in attendance. This opened up other opportunities for him, modeling for fashion shows and photo shoots. He joins me on the sofa on the Just Tip Show to talk about his life. You're welcome back to the Just Steve Show. If you're just joining us, we have a special guest in the studio today. I'm actually trying as much as I can to keep my cool because he is so hot. Phoenix, you're welcome to the show.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, now you've done so much. I was reading through and I was like, wow, you've done really much. But I always take my guests back to the beginning. What was it like growing up?
Growing up was great. I grew up mostly in Barbados in the early stages of my youth. Went to school, lived with my gran, and had a great time. You know, being in the sun and being creative. I was the only child at that time, so it was a good life. You know, different because I was from England, going into a different environment. So I was new to people. So that was a whole thing as well. So I was treated a certain way based on that. And
because you are from England?
Yeah, like a novelty,
Wow.
So I had that. And it was just, my gran, your gran always kind of treats you a bit differently than your mum, you know what I mean? So, so there was that as well. So it was a good life growing up. I was always very creative and had a good time.
When did you know, from what point in your life growing up did you know that you were creative?
The point I knew was probably around, I'd say, it was 9, 10. The point I was creative from was much younger. The point of my awareness came later. I used to draw a lot. I used to copy cartoons from magazines like the Beano and Dandy and stuff like that. And I was very good at it. And I used to get a lot of compliments at it. I remember one time being in hospital. I can't remember what I was there for, in the children's hospital. And I remember having to stay overnight. I wish I could remember what I was there for. But anyway, I'd done some artwork, and my mum had told the nurses that I drew this stuff, and they just didn't believe it. They didn't believe that I had drawn this. So I've always had that creative side from very young. Obviously, but later I got into doing, I've always been, especially with my hands, I've always been very creative. I started doing hair.
Creative never mind.
I started doing hair and barbering, and that's when I became aware more of being creative, more of an aware thing. Before I just kind of did stuff without being aware that I'm so creative, I was just naturally doing it. But I began barbering, began cutting my own hair, and then I learned that, I'm creative, and that's how that kind of came in. And then I later looked back on things I did earlier with the drawing and dancing I was doing as well. And I came to learn that, I was creative. So I'd say around 10, 11, maybe younger, but I'd say roughly around that time.
So what was the first thing you did? Now, when we talk about creativity, it's pretty broad, So what areas of creativity do you like most?
Now?
Well, from then up to now.
I enjoy language and literature a lot. I write. I'm a poet, and that was my early introduction onto the stage. I mean, I started out singing a little bit, and I was rapping. I was in a rap group for a short time, and then poetry. Poetry became the thing that I fell in love with most about, just being a performer, being creative, writing, and then performing that writing as poetry. And that became, I think that was my first experience of, being an artist as such. Yeah.
Okay, now you're an actor, you're a poet, you're a rapper, you're a model. You do everything.
All at once. I've had stages of things. I mean, early on, I was singing a lot. I started singing on stage for a while. Then that phased into rapping with a group for a short time, and then I got into spoken word and poetry, and that became the thing. I was then a poet. I was the poet, and that I guess led up to me being a poet, and that's what I became known for. And since that time, I recorded CDs and traveled abroad internationally, won awards and stuff for writing and performing. I've been on TV. And so that was the poet. So that was that stage of my life. Then that evolved into, I got into modeling, which, that was a part in some sense. But I got into modeling. I was doing that for a while. I won Best Male Model Fashion TV in 2007, 8. Yeah. So that was another phase of my life as well. I was doing catwalk and editorial stuff, and
catwalk.
Yeah, working with photographers. And then I got into choreographing shows as well. I did a show, Wimbledon Fashion Week, and other stuff I was doing, choreographed Miss East Africa 2008, I want to say. And so, yeah, I was integrated into that world, and that kind of was another phase of my life, creatively. And later on then, that fused into, I should say, the acting, which I do now, and the filmmaking side of stuff. And I guess it's been an evolutionary process because it's only through the writing and the performing on stage and the being in front of the cameras in terms of modeling and being on the catwalk and being in front of audiences in general for both that allows me now to do acting. It's given me the tools to act and to be comfortable in front of a camera and to be able to deliver dialogue and learn lines and know what to do with a script and all that stuff. So that's been my school. That's been those things. So I mean, yes, I'm still a model. Yes, I'm still I'm still a poet. But it's phases. You know what I mean? So when people say you do this, you do that, you do this, I'm not all doing all at the same time. I'm now mainly focused on the acting and the filmmaking side of things. That's been the journey so far. Although I still write poetry and I still have plans to get into more stage performance at some point. I kind of like to focus on my energies on one thing at a time. Not to kind of be doing 10 things at once and not really doing justice to any of them because you're so divided trying to be this and be that, so yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your acting. You've been in EastEnders, you've done Holby City, am I right?
Yeah.
Holby City or Casualty?
Holby City, yeah.
Holby City, you've done Skyfall, Cameo. No, okay, let's talk about Skyfall because I saw you in that. How was that experience for you?
Great.
Great.
Yeah, it was a great experience. For me, for example, I've never been to acting school. So everything I've done.
You've never?
No, I haven't been to acting school. I've gone to acting, I guess. So.
I guess you learn on the job.
Exactly. So for me, having the opportunity to be on that set on such an iconic, I want to say franchise, James Bond. I mean, words can't really say. I say great, but it can't really express. Being around professional actors, I've been doing it for a while. A top director, Sam Mendes, and it's just you can't really put a word on what it's like. I could say it's amazing, it's fantastic, but words can't express. It was just an amazing experience, just being a part of that set and just seeing how it came together and being Judi Dench and all of those people, Daniel Craig, and it was just fantastic.
I wouldn't know
it's
how
a good experience.
being with them. Now, you've also done soaps, the dramas and all of that. How would you differentiate the film, you acting doing film and doing the soaps?
Well, I'd say the difference between
for you.
For me, what the difference? For me, there's not really a difference because I enjoy. Just being, I enjoy performing. If it's TV, if it's film, I enjoy acting. That's what I do. I enjoy performing. I enjoy the dialogue. I enjoy being in front of the camera. I enjoy, letting my talent show. and portraying characters. I enjoy that on both levels. The difference with TV and film is that TV kind of tends to turn over a lot quicker. Things, there's a lot more done in a short space of time. Whereas film, a scene can take one day just for one scene. Whereas TV, it will be a lot more quicker. They'll shoot that scene, okay, into the next, shoot that scene into the next scene. The setups are smaller, tend to be a lot smaller in TV. So those are the differences. For me, I enjoy both. I find in terms of dialogue, the time that you find yourself having to learn lines quicker. Because of that reason, because it's a quick turnover, you have to work faster. That's pretty much, I'd say, the difference I find. Generally, other than that, it's just, it's a platform for me to express myself.
Okay, now, I'm being told that we have to go for a break, but when we come back, I want to know if you do any work behind the camera.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to take a break now. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Find what they're passionate about and focus on that. And what do you enjoy doing? What do you like to do? And just bring more of that out as possible. Something lacking, there's something missing, there's no communication anymore. You're not talking about what's wrong or there's arguments or whatever, and there's a breakdown somewhere.
Welcome back to the Just Steve Show. I have a hunk before me, and I'm actually finding it difficult to concentrate. So I better behave myself now. Okay, so tell me now, do you do any work behind the camera?
I do, yes. The thing is, I find when you are in between the space of acting and not acting, as a creative person, I want to keep myself busy, and I like to create. I just have to be doing something. If it's writing, if it's, whatever, even taking pictures, just to, just keep myself creative. And with that, in between those spaces, I got into being behind the camera. And a couple of years ago now.
As in directing?
As in, directing, shooting, and casting, pretty much anything that's integrated within making a film, basically. And I made my first feature 2013. I released it actually, and that was just born out of just wanting to keep things moving and explore and be creative. So I enjoy it. I directed that, I produced that, I filmed it, cast it, so edited it, so that's I like being behind as well, and I have done.
Very good. Very, very good. Okay, now this is something that's very, very serious. Now, I would call you a role model. You live in present-day UK, and we know how the young ones are struggling to find themselves and find what they can do. But I think I've seen that a lot of them are creative, but don't know how to channel it. What would you have to say on this?
I think the more things in place for them to let out that creativity is important. More avenues for it. I mean, there's always distractions. There's peer pressure. There's always other stuff around. I just think it just needs to be more encouragement from the people who know, which is obviously the adults. That sometimes youngsters don't really know. They don't have the direction. Sometimes they do, and that's great. But whereas they don't, I think it's important for as many outlets for them to let that creativity out as possible. Otherwise, it goes the wrong way. The energy gets put out in the negative way.
So, you being a creative person, how would you mentor a young one who is also creative?
See, I'm an artist, so my mentoring comes through doing the art. In terms of how that it reaches people is a thing that I can only have a certain degree in ensuring. You know what I mean? There's people that are mentors, that's their thing. And I feel it's important for them to make the connection between the role models and the children, if that makes sense. I can only create and make things and do things and hope that it reaches the people it should reach, you know.
Though I read on your was it Twitter or Instagram, well, I don't know if it's a young person, but I want to assume that it is a young person,
Yeah.
who was saying they had just seen your work and they were quite inspired by it, and you replied saying, "Oh, thank you very much." Now, I know where I'm going with this, because you just said you can only mentor as far as being, being creative out there. Now, if somebody, a young person like that, if it's, assuming it's a young person who had said, "Oh, I've just seen your work and I'm quite inspired by it," instead of the thank you, is there nothing else you can say to that person?
Well, yeah, of course, definitely. I mean, if you're in proximity with that person, then you can, 100%.
So what would you say to that person?
What would I say? I'd say live your dreams. That's one thing I would always say.
But if they don't know what their dreams are, because that is the problem that they're having.
I would encourage them to find what they're passionate about and focus on that. And what do you enjoy doing? What do you like to do? And just bring more of that out as possible. One of the things I think is important, which I wish I had more of, was the encouragement to do what I do now. Basically, to know that I can do it. To know that it's possible. To know that I am important. To know that I have light that I can give to the world that people would want to see or experience, and that's what I think I would encourage in a young person. That's what I would tell them. I think it's because I never had those little things in my ear saying you can do it, you're important. You don't have to be doing negative stuff. You don't have to pay attention to these things that say you're not important. Do you know what I mean? That you have to be doing stuff that's not positive and creative and changing the world if you like. So that's what I think would be my thing. That is my thing, to be honest. Because I didn't have that. I didn't have that.
Look at you. So
I was just blessed to fall into the influences of things like personal development and motivational speakers and NLP and stuff like that. People like Anthony Robbins and Zig Ziglar and you name it, Bob Proctor and people like this. Listening to Les Brown as well, and listening to their work, listening to what they're talking about, and taking that in. And I was fortunate to have it as a young person, as a teenager, and that had an impact on me, and that kind of helped me stay on the right path, I guess, in a way, from a road that I could have gone down, and so I try to pass these gems on to young people, especially in my poetry and the stuff I write about. I just think it's important,
That's very good. Okay, this is just random, right? I have three questions here. Pick any number. 1, 2, 3.
3.
Okay, this 3 has something to do with your challenge that I have set for you. So pick another one. Okay. 2.
What's
the most embarrassing thing you've done?
The most embarrassing thing I've done? Wow, there's a question. Publicly. I'm trying to think.
There must be something.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm just trying to think what it is.
Okay, do you want us to move on to another question and we'll come back to that?
Yeah. I'll have a think on that. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff. I just can't think of anything right now.
Okay, this is a relationship question. Don't worry, it's nothing private, right? It has to do within male or female.
Okay.
Now you are a guy, right? Why do you guys cheat?
Why do guys cheat?
Yeah. No, why? Well, you're speaking on behalf of guys.
I'm speaking on behalf of guys. I think I'll answer it like this, and I'll be honest. I think anyone cheats.
Now you're being smart.
No, this is the truth. I really feel it's a human thing rather than a male thing, and I think that people cheat when they're not satisfied, when there's something that there's something lacking, in a relationship for them, and
so why don't you discuss it?
Yeah, and I was coming to that. I think that communication is the key throughout. Some people don't talk about stuff. They just, find their own way of dealing with it. And they feel they can't talk about it or they don't communicate anymore like they did when they first started a relationship. And, something else comes along or presents itself that fills that void. And I think that's why people cheat, men and women, because not just men cheat. So, it's real.
Have you ever cheated?
Have I ever cheated?
Be honest.
Have I? Yeah, of course. When I was young, I definitely had relationships where. See, this is the thing. It's an interesting line. I definitely had relationships where I was seeing more than one person at a time, and you could class that as cheating. But again, coming back to what I was saying before, I found that's only ever been when I was not satisfied in one relationship, realized it was coming to an end. I hadn't ended it verbally, but I'd kind of moved on in my head and had met someone else and was kind of making inroads with that person. So, and a lot of people would class that as cheating because I haven't properly broken off the previous relationship. So yeah, definitely, I've been in that situation myself, and it's only because there's something lacking, there's something missing, there's no communication anymore. You're not talking about what's wrong, or there's arguments or whatever. And there's a breakdown somewhere. And that's why I think people cheat.
Okay. I hope you're still thinking about that embarrassing moment.
Okay.
Yeah, but where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I see myself as an established actor, writer, and poet.
That's good. Okay, look into that camera, right? And say something to the people out there.
People out there.
In a rap form, yeah. Rap.
Rap?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Either rap or poetry, which do you prefer?
Either.
Okay.
People out there, it's as simple as this. You can be, do, and achieve anything in life you want to. And no matter what people say to you, no matter what you experience, that's to the contrary. The truth is that the universe always works with you when you have a firm desire and a belief in achieving something. So I would say to you, go out there and achieve and work towards what you want to see for your life. And the seeing it is in the believing. Believing, and you believe and you will see it, basically. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as this. If you want to change your life, you have to change your life. And it sounds really simplistic, but that is basically what it is. It's the focus, and it's the discipline, and it's the hard work and all the rest of it. But first, it's the belief that you can do it and know that you can achieve anything you want in your life. That's what I'd like you to know and take away with you.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice, very sweet. So I want to believe now that you've remembered the embarrassing moment.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so tell us.
The embarrassing moment. Oh, right, yeah, back to that. Yeah, okay. I kind of didn't get to think about it.
Are you trying to get away from it?
No, there's just something that I don't.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Embarrassing moment. I've had many, but what? Oh, wow. That's a toughie.
Should I let him get away with it? Yeah. Because you're a man. Should I let him get away with it?
Is that? Do I? Is that?
Answer the question, man.
No, I don't know. I can't think of any. Look,
okay.
I know.
Right.
I can tell you I probably had loads, but I'm trying to think of one right now. What have an embarrassing moment?
Nothing recently. You haven't done anything recently.
I don't know. Have I?
I don't know.
I'm thinking of some information that I don't know about, or that I've forgotten. Something I've done that I've forgotten, maybe.
Okay, let's let him off. Right? We'll let him off.
No, if you know, tell me. I'll be.
I can't tell you.
Oh, okay.
It's my job to ask you what it is.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay.
We'll let him off. We'll let him off. Now,
oh, yeah. I got one.
Okay.
Yeah. I go to this place called the Hollywood Cafe in Holloway Road.
Yeah.
And I was coming out of there. I was leaving there. I go there on Sunday sometimes. It's one of my new favorite places. So yeah, it's a nice little cafe. I go there and I'm coming out and I'm looking at my phone. I walk right into this post. It's like they have the post it's like got a map on the side, and it's like it's kind of like that shape. Yeah, so I basically walk right into it and hit my head like looking at my phone.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And and then, like right on the high street, that was embarrassing for me. That's the most embarrassing moment recently, anyway. And you have to kind of do this thing like it didn't hurt, like you're fine, you're cool, you just kind of, you know what I mean? That was pretty embarrassing.
I didn't ask you about dating in the dark.
Yes, Dating in the Dark. Yeah, okay.
Wait. Tell us about it.
Oh, what do you want to know?
What's that? Are you still seeing her?
Am I still seeing her? No.
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 Okay. Was that a show or it was for real?
It was a show for real.
What kind of answer is that?
It was, yeah.
Okay, it was a show for real.
Yeah.
So you really fancied her?
I did, yeah. I thought she was nice. I wouldn't mind going out with her and stuff. But we didn't get that far, obviously, if you've seen the show. But yeah, it was real. I mean, I was single. She was single as far as I know. And yeah, I think we got on. The dates that we had in the dark were great. And I would have happily gone out with her if she was up for it.
Weren't you scared? Not seeing...
Scared? No, I wouldn't use the word scared. I was more curious.
Apprehensive.
Well, not so much. I was open, you know. I was open to fate, I guess. Like, you know. And yeah, I wasn't scared. I wouldn't say I was scared. I was maybe a bit nervous. But it was fun. I found it fun. It was a fun experience. I was open to whatever was going to be revealed. But yeah, it just. I mean, obviously, you're going by The Voice, and it's a show basically all about can you bond with someone based on personality without seeing what they look like and stuff. And I think we kind of had that bond, and I liked her voice, and it just kind of. I was lucky that she did look good.
Okay, I was just going to say, what if the looks were...
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it depends on how much we had in the space of that show to bond, whether that would matter or not when I saw her in the light, and vice versa. You know what I mean? And it shows how much people are base things on looks. That's what the whole show is about. But we didn't get the opportunity, so we'll never know.
Good on you. Well, we have to go now. But thank you very, very much for coming on the show.
You're very welcome.
I pray that if we invite you again, you will come.
And thank myself.
Maybe then you would.
I'll be happy to come again.
Thank you so much, and wish you well in all your future endeavors.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
that's our show for today. My name is Evelyn Obaho. Of course, we'll do this again sometime soon. Till then, go live your dreams. Goodbye.
It's in the shadows. That's where we must do battle. So before you declare us irrelevant, ask yourselves, how safe do you feel? Just one more thing to say.
I can die now.
All right.